Welcome to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Christina Ping-Kepperling. She is CEO of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. And if you're joining us today for the very first time, we have been doing a very special series called Financial Wellness. Well, what does that mean exactly? Obviously, you're passionate about taking care of yourself. You're eating healthy, exercising, getting enough sleep. Well, shouldn't your finances have that same kind of care when you're in retirement? Christina thinks so, and that's why she came up with the wonderful Financial Wellness series. I'm just enjoying this, Christina. How are you today?
Great. This has been so much fun. When you think about it, I know everybody wants to be well in every way because wellness just feels well.
Yes.
Or swell. I guess I'll age us a little bit. Wellness feels swell. And when you think about your financial wellness, it brings such a great peace of mind when you just have everything in order.
You really, truly do. I mean, again, it gives you that honor of sleeping well at night. There's nothing that's waking you up that's saying, oh my gosh, I'm worrying about that right now, because you have it all taken care of.
Yes.
Well, especially in this part of our series, we're going to talk about the importance of legacy planning, which is your wheelhouse, your passion. Tell us why you're passionate about legacy planning, Christina, before we dive into this today.
I don't know if everybody believes in this one, Cynthia, but if you've ever heard of a generational curse, I broke it. Our family has had a lot of struggles through the years, and I am the first one in our family by generation to be able to break this curse and be able to leave a true legacy to my sons, my grandson, everlasting. I mean, there are some great things. I'm not talking about just wealth, singing songs to them and how to make sourdough bread, how to grow things in a garden. My children know how to do these things, and we're passing it on to my grandson. That type of legacy is priceless, of course. But with the financial wellness and the legacy, people don't think the same as you used to. We've worked all these years, and do we want someone else to have control of our legacy? A lot of people think, I don't have enough money to even care about a legacy. That's not true. So what is a real legacy?
Yeah, let's think about that. Yeah. When you think about legacy, you're obviously thinking about things that you'll be passing on when you leave. Let's talk about the very basic, if we could, the will. What exactly is a will?
A will is showing what will happen by your direction.
Okay.
Once it goes to probate. A will go to probate. That's something that a lot of people want to avoid, so we would have another conversation. But a will gives those final directives, if you will. Last will, a testament to what it is exactly that your wishes are beyond the grave. So it's not necessarily your financial wellness, but it's your wellness with your peace of mind while you're living, that once you are not here anymore, all of your estate, your belongings, everything is going to go the way that you wish for it to. I see so many families that break apart because of estates.
Yes.
Money is such a beast. It's not necessarily the money, I guess, but the love of money or the greed.
Love. Yeah.
It's so terrible. And I think that sometimes that goes hand in hand with grief.
Yes.
Grief is just that final act of love that you do not get to give. Well, when there's money beyond the grave, it shakes that up and it drops it to the opposite end of the sector. And I don't like it. It's really bothersome. It's difficult, especially if someone dies without a will. That is called dying intestate.
Yes.
That is so messy. And it gives open season for the government to command everything that you have earned in your lifetime and what is going to happen with it. I don't like that at all.
And it's so unfortunate. We know celebrities that have passed away without having a will, and just how many years things were tied up in court. And of course, everybody and their brother comes forward saying, I'm related, she's related, we're related, and it takes so much time. And it's really such a simple thing when you think about it, just having a will in place to alleviate all of that.
Inside of a will, and when you're going to probate court, it actually opens up susceptibility to fraud. You would think that if it's in the court, it would be a little bit more lawful, correct?
Right, makes sense.
But if we have it structured perhaps inside of a trust, which we'll talk about later, and it avoids the probate and avoids the court, you know there's no fraud in there because it's going to happen exactly the way that you say it's going to, because the trust owns it and the trust controls it.
Okay.
And one of the things that people really like about having a trust versus having a will is that you do not have to deal with the probate. It doesn't become public information. What you've earned is nobody's business. I spent years and years in the residential rental property business. Okay, this is like a chicken coop of poo in real estate. It's awful. There are so many horrible things that you have to deal with. All the garbage disposals and all the dishwashers are broken all the time, but it is very fruitful financially if you do it right. And so once that comes to fruition, do you want all of that to be in probate court and for everybody to be able to see that, for it to be susceptible to fraud or someone trying to sue you or all these different things? So
right.
The way that that is structured and protecting your assets today protects your assets beyond the grave as well.
And when we think about that, how important is it to have your beneficiaries up to date with a will? Because I think we've heard some nightmare stories of people that have just maybe had a will drawn up, but then all of a sudden life changes. We are in a lot of blended marriage situations right now, blended families. How important is it to make sure that your beneficiaries are actually the people that you would still choose today?
Well, blended families is a little bit more of a complicated topic, but one thing that I do see quite a bit is just in a traditional family, you get married, you have your children, you grow through your life, you pay off your mortgage, you save for retirement, and you retire. The will has not been updated since your children were small because you got the will to make sure and designate the guardians for your children. That was the most important at the time. And things have changed so very much concerning your assets. And what is the financial outlook if that will is not updated? Well, the children are not minors anymore. So again, it will go to probate and it can cause problems. It's just a really big deal. And one of the things that I think about with overall estates is how can we simplify this? What's the easiest way to keep your family from being upset? They're already upset that they lost you. And I just don't like seeing families upset over money beyond the grave because let's get this taken care of first.
Yes.
First off, it's nobody else's business. I don't like it when children feel like they need to know everything that their parents have. It's not their business and they didn't earn it. Once they're gone, it becomes their business. That's what those documents are for. And so that helps alleviate some of that stress or tension within families. You know, you've heard the waiting to die so I can inherit my retirement account.
Right.
I've heard that one a few times now, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're waiting on your parents to die so you can have a retirement account, like their estate. What if they go into long-term care or something major happens and it just blows up the estate and it's gone? So.
I know. You know, you do hear that quite a bit, and it's I know exactly what you're saying. Well, I do want to spend some time really talking to you about the difference between a will and a trust, but we do have to take a commercial break. But Christina, you have a very special message, and I think a website link that we're going to share in this commercial break before we go to the next segment.
Yes, folks, this can become extremely complex. I know you've spent years and years building your estate. What is the estate? How much money do you have to even have an estate? For most people, your home is your next largest asset besides your retirement account. That is an estate, truly. You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's sit down and talk about this. You've worked so hard your entire life for this beautiful estate. Let's give it to your family as you wish, or whomever you wish, your dog, whatever it may be. Let's sit down and have a consultation about it. We do have a legacy quiz. This is pretty awesome. It lets you know some of the ins and outs of what you should personally be doing and trigger some of the questions that you need to get answers to make sure that your legacy and your estate is in order. It is the powerfullegacyquiz.com. powerfullegacyquiz.com. You can click that QR code at the bottom of the screen as well. If you would like to come in for a consultation, we'd love to sit and chat about this. The estate is the back end of the entire plan, but it is done at the front end. That's the most important thing to remember. We want to get this in order in the very beginning.
Christina, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, the number to call is 877-893-5099. We once again invite you to join powerfullegacyquiz.com. Jump on that website, take the quick quiz, and find out if you are all set for your legacy planning purposes. Again, takes a couple of minutes, powerfullegacyquiz.com. If you would prefer to come in for a one-on-one consultation with Christina and her team, please call the number on your screen, 877-893-5099. We're talking all about financial wellness in this series, and it's not only for when you're here on this earth, but also for those that you love when you're gone, for those who you leave behind. Once again, it's your legacy. It's Powerful Legacy. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
property and casualty insurance is how I really got started. I was supposed to go to law school and be an attorney, and I'm so glad I did not take that road. But when I think about what is it that really led me to honing in on this craft of retirement planning, my grandparents had a major loss back in 2008. I watched what happened with the market and how it affected their retirement plan, and they were not able to retire how and when they wanted to. It automatically just pushed me in a natural direction of trying to protect people in a whole other way. It's been something that I've been working on for several years. Anyone who is starting their own business has to be about halfway crazy because it is such a huge risk. I mean, you risk everything. And I went from having steady W-2 pay and benefits to now everything is on my shoulders and my sons pay because they were both with me opening the business and licensed agents as well. But having my boys alongside with me, that is the most amazing because our relationship is just tighter than ever, and I knew I wanted legacy to be inside of my business name because I want to leave that ultimate legacy.
Welcome back to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Christina Ping-Kepperling. She is CEO of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services, and you're joining us for the Financial Wellness Series. Well, today is all about estate planning, legacy planning, how your wishes can be carried out when you're no longer with us, which is so important, especially when you have loved ones that you want to care for. This is such an amazing series, Christina, and this part specifically tying it all together, your wills and your trusts. And in this segment, I would love to talk to you a little bit about trusts. First of all, what is a trust to the viewers at home? Explain what that is.
I want to encourage you to think of a trust as something that is not just a legal document that creates a custodian for assets, but as a shield. It's meant to protect the assets from something.
Okay.
And I love to think about it as, what if you were shielding against taxation? What if, maybe estate taxes, that could be dealt with inside of a trust. What if you're shielding against getting sued or long-term care, something like that? What if you're shielding against the future of people who would not have your best interest in mind? And what does that look like? We've talked about these multi-generational trusts and these blended families, and the Rockefellers are the most famous for their trusts because they actually purchase life insurance inside of their family dynasty trust, and it's gone from generation to generation and just overfunded it, and then they borrow from that money. That's how they have kept this multi-generational wealth, which is pretty incredible. And it takes one person, it just takes that one person to jump off the cliff of risk and open businesses and work as hard as you possibly could and begin and break that generational curse. Well, in breaking that, you think about what type of a trust do you need? Okay. What is the trust that's going to satisfy? Because there are many different types. Like there are living trust, living revocable, there's irrevocable, there's dynasty, guardian, asset protection trusts. There are trusts that are specifically for businesses, trusts that have holding companies inside of them, the way that they're structured. I love using a trust as a tool when it is done properly. On a very personal basis, I have a few.
Okay.
And this is for the most excellent reason. My husband and I have only been married for a few years, and my boys and I built two separate businesses, the real estate, obviously, before Powerful Legacy, and, my husband did not earn that. And if it was the other way around, I would not be entitled to any of his prior earnings with him and his son. So protecting that for my boys and my multi-generations, that's one thing.
Okay.
But also protecting it from future spouses of my sons. That's actually something that you can do to shield the assets, because let's just face it, numbers don't lie, and statistic is that 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Yes.
So what if 50-50, one of my sons got a divorce and their spouse tried to take the assets that I had earned and are with my boys? They can't take it inside of a trust.
Okay.
So that's one of the ways that, again, protecting assets, shielding the assets from some of the elements, which sometimes those elements can be your own family.
Interesting. And you talked about something called the Dynasty Trust. What is that?
Oh my gosh.
Curious to hear.
So very specifically, we're looking for a dynasty succession.
Okay.
So sometimes the dynasty can be used for business purposes or personal. It just depends on what it is. Dynasty, a lot of times in Kentucky, is used on our horse farms.
Okay.
I see that quite a bit because it is business and personal at the exact same time, and a lot of times multi-generational trust. So that's what we're looking for. It's all in one.
Interesting. And again, the guardian trust. Could you explain that a little bit more?
Yes, I'm seeing this more and more. You know, since the 70s, we have seen so many more people with horrific illnesses like, you know, autism or on that spectrum. And these folks cannot take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And so a guardian trust is a great way for a parent to leave assets to continue to help their child who cannot help themselves. They can't help themselves.
Right.
To have that continued care beyond the grave. That's what that is for, to be their guardian. A guardian trust is also for the opposite. You know, what if I've got a lady that she was diagnosed with cancer when her daughter was just a year old. We did a guardian trust because she had inherited family money. We put the family money in that guardian trust, and it's for her daughter in the future. She was protecting against other things. She didn't want her husband to have the access except to take care of their daughter, because what if he got remarried and what if that wife wanted the access? She was not comfortable with that because that was her family's money.
Okay.
And these things are very understandable. They should be easy conversations. It all boils down to this. What you have earned and you have worked for, you have every right to protect it. That's what we're looking to do, is exercise that right to protect your assets.
How can you help someone decide what exactly they need? If they need a will, if they need a trust, and if it is a trust, what type of trust? What does that process look like, Christina?
Well, we can't help everyone, because I have had people make the comment before, you know what, I'm going to be dead. I really do not care what happens. They normally are not my clients.
Okay.
But when we do sit down and have the conversation, what is it that we're looking to accomplish? Most people think that they do not have enough money to have a trust, or they think a trust costs too much money. Well, let's just say that your house is worth $300,000 and your retirement account is worth $300,000. That's over $500,000.
Yep.
With your retirement account, you can declare the beneficiary and contingent beneficiary. You can keep that out of probate most of the time.
Okay.
But on your home, you can't. And if you transfer that to your child while you're living, you can have extra tax violations. You can't just give a property. There are limitations. $18,000 a year right now is the gift tax limitation. So if you're giving something and it's more than that, well, I see people that declare, oh, I gave it to them for $1. No, you didn't. You're going to get in trouble. Once you're gone, they're going to come back and they're going to come after that estate. And so knowing what could come down the road, putting it into that trust and making sure that you're protecting the assets, once again, that's what we're looking to do.
And again, at what age should people start thinking about wills and trusts, in your opinion?
When you have something to protect.
Okay.
When you have children, when you have a home, when you have income to protect, because you can shield your income also. That's a really awesome way to think about that. I love it to look like, on paper, I don't own anything. I'm broke because my trusts own everything. It is shielded. There's an extra veil of protection inside of those trusts. That is a great comfort for me. And I am nowhere near retirement. I do not want to retire anytime soon. I'll be on the road program, retired on active duty. I'll be 90 years old, coming in telling my staff what to do.
Yes, you will be. I can totally see that. Because Powerful Legacy is your baby. You're not going to be letting that go anytime soon.
Yes. Oh, my legacy. Holy cow. As you come and visit Powerful Legacy in Lexington, you know, we just moved to this fabulous, massive, beautiful office.
Gorgeous.
Big street sign that's visible. I mean, it's just so amazing, and I love watching it grow. So watching this happen, then what's going to happen when it goes to the next? I have threatened my children very heavily that they better not let anything happen. So they know better.
Yes, they do. Preston and Tyler, I know you're watching. Christina, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, if you're wondering where you stand with your legacy planning, we invite you, please, to visit powerfullegacyquiz.com. Once again, that's powerfullegacyquiz.com. Put in a little bit of information about yourself and find out if you're really in the right place for all of your legacy needs, if you will. You're also being offered a complimentary consultation with Christina and the team, and all you have to do is call in and take advantage of that today. That number is 877-893-5099, 877-893-5099. Again, this is about your peace of mind, not only about right now, today, but what about the legacy that you hope to pass along to those you love? This is your chance and your opportunity to take action today. Once again, don't forget to visit powerfullegacyquiz.com. We'll be right back momentarily. I have so much more with Christina about financial wellness when we return.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Christina Ping-Kepperling. She is CEO of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services, and you're joining us on the series called Financial Wellness. Right now, today, we're talking about wills and trusts, and most of all, legacy planning. That's what today's show is all about. So, Christina, a question I think a lot of people in the viewing audience may have is, do you have to have a lot of money to have an estate? And if so, how do you calculate what is a lot of money? It's probably different for everyone.
That is different for everyone. I mean, I still think that every dollar counts. $5 is still $5. I think that you just don't want to make mistakes and you don't want to flush money down the toilet. So leaving your assets at risk by not having your estate in order, that's exactly what you're doing. It brings me to think about, I've got these very, very fine folks that were my clients. And husband and wife, they had been married just a little over 15 years. They both had kids from previous marriages, and the husband was widowed, she was divorced. So just playing this out, blended family, but had been married over 15 years. They lived in his family farm and in a family farmhouse. Everything was inside of a trust, and he made her the trustee. When he passed away, she spent the trust and dissolved it and sold within it because she was the trustee and she could. His kids got nothing.
Oh, wow.
It's gone.
Okay.
So you think about that. What are you trying to protect it from? If it would have been specifically listed that nothing could be sold, nothing could be done, all those things can be inside of the trust, so make sure it's right.
Yes.
That's where estate planning comes into play. The attorneys do the preparation. They prepare the paperwork, but the planning is done by an estate planner. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. And again, on the personal basis, you know, if I left my husband as the trustee of my entire estate, he could sell it out, or a new wife could sell it out, and my kids would get nothing of what I've worked for the last 25, 30 years. So those things can happen if it's not properly structured. And we don't want that to happen. So you get it properly structured. It is what it is. And we know you love your spouse. We know you love your kids. Just do the right thing. What you have earned, you have every right to protect it. Do the right thing. How much does that cost? What is it? What are we trying to go after? Well, you do not have to have a large estate to be able to have a trust.
Okay.
I have some folks that have a really nice piece of property. It's a little over 5 acres, and they have a mobile home on the property. So nothing real crazy.
Okay.
Worth a couple $100,000. They do not have a lot of retirement savings, less than $100,000. So they probably will spend it before life end. They absolutely have a trust because they don't want that property to be susceptible to any type of extra taxation or any issues coming from long-term care. They threw in an irrevocable. They want their kids to have that money. Furthermore, their grandkids. By the way, if you are inside of any of these documents and you see the word PERSTIRPS, PERSTIRPES, that means it would bypass the person who's passed away to their own children. So if you have 2 children and they both have children, if one of your children passed away, their portion would then go to their children automatically. That's what PERSTIRPS means. That's an excellent way to equalize the assets if something was to happen to one of your heirs.
Okay. Wow. Very interesting. And what about How much does it cost to get an estate done? I know a lot of people are probably wondering that. Is that a costly thing to put together?
If you see financial firms that are saying, oh, it's free, it's included for a full estate and a trust, walk away. That is not a well-prepared and planned for trust.
Okay.
A trust will normally cost somewhere between $2,000 to $5,000, depending on what it is and what you're trying to accomplish. It's only done once.
Okay.
If you're not willing to pay, that's like an insurance policy on hundreds of thousands of dollars most of the time. So my folks, again, with their mobile home on their land, they didn't have a whole lot of money. They absolutely paid a few $1,000s to get everything in order. It was important to them to protect that asset. And I completely agree with that. And I think using those tools, when they're used properly, can be very successful.
Absolutely. And how much does it cost to have a will done and a trust?
Well, how much does it cost to have a will done? You can go to AI on the internet and just say, I want blank, 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 blank. It's kind of a punch and play.
Okay.
Up to, you can have a super fancy firm that's going to prepare it. It'll be, a couple $1,000s, just as much as a trust. That's not really great because they don't cost that much.
Okay.
Also, if you are not able to pay for a will, it will stand up all day long in court if you handwrite out a will, last will and testament. You sign it, and either 2 witnesses or a notary, and you must be of sound mind is what they're looking for. That will hold up in court all day long. I've seen it a couple of times.
Okay. Amazing. Well, Christina, only a minute and a half left of the show this week. Your final message, please, to the viewers at home before we say goodbye.
I love talking about legacy. This is part of your financial wellness, and you should take it very seriously. I don't want you to have an illness inside of your legacy. Jump on, take a look, powerfullegacyquiz.com. Give us a call. That number on the screen, 877-893-5099. Come in and get a copy of the book, The Retirement Train. Set up this complimentary review to get your written retirement plan. This will include the planning for your legacy and your estate as well.
Christina, thank you so very much. To the viewers at home, thank you for joining us on Financial Wellness with Your Powerful Legacy. That number to call is 877-893-5099, or please visit powerfullegacyquiz.com. Put in a little information about yourself and see where you stand with your legacy planning. The time to act is now. You've worked your entire life to get to the retirement years, and you deserve to have financial wellness. The number to call for a direct consultation with Christina is 877-893-5099, or once again, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We look forward to seeing you back here 1 week from today. Take care now.